Vika, what's going on? Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Debating Trump Supporters on the Epstein Files. Let's get into it.
Don't buy the.
If you are new to YouTube, type 1 in the chat. If you're not new to YouTube, type 2 in the chat. If you're glad to be here, type 3 in the chat. Let's go. I figured out how to get a goal up this time. What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? Good, bad, or indifferent? Things were pretty spicy on TikTok, but we had a lot of Muppets over there. Trump now tells the House to go forward. Trump is now telling the House to go forward with with voting to release the Epstein files, which I think is nothing short of hilarious because this is the same guy who didn't want Republicans to sign the discharge petition, did not want there to even be a vote to start with. And now all of a sudden, he does want there to be a vote. Yeah. And Trump supporters actually used that as an excuse this morning. Carly, thank you for being a member for 8 months. Let's go, Carly. Let's go, Carly. Guys, if you would like to become a member, I would appreciate it. Become a member of the channel. Get a badge next to your name. Get your color changed in there. So the badge changes like as long as you've been a member. But I will tell you guys, I'm going to be changing the badges to custom badges. So there's going to be specific badges with like they're not going to just be a star. They're going to be better than that. I'm working on that now. You think he was talked to? No. I'll explain. Hold on. Let me just thank some people here. Michelle, thank you. Sent 100 for 2 jewels. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Sent a flower for 30 jewels. Appreciate you. Michelle sent a flower for 30 jewels. Heavenly sent floating heart for 10 jewels. And Michelle B, thank you for sending a floating heart for 10 jewels. I put a super chat goal up there too so people can super chat. You like this background? Yeah, it's a coffee shop. We're in a coffee shop right now. That's what we're doing. We're hanging out in a coffee shop. What I think happened was he has no choice. That's what I think happened. Is it true now that it's an investigation the files can't be released? Not entirely. But it's what I believe that is an effort to keep the stuff related to Trump. Any information related to the ongoing investigation doesn't automatically all it doesn't automatically all become blocked, but that's the purpose of him doing it, because they can claim the stuff related to Trump pertains to an ongoing investigation, and then they don't release that information. It is a security blanket. God forbid it ever passes the Senate. That's what I believe. I believe it is a security blanket for Donald Trump, which is why I told people, do not get excited about the purpose of this vote in the House is not because we're ultimately going to get the files. The vote in the House will just apply more pressure. We're looking for pressure right now. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Will it ultimately result in releasing everything? Well, probably not. But it applies pressure to the Senate for the first time ever if it passes the House. Michelle, thank you for being a member for 8 months. Become a member. It's lit over here, definitely, and it helps the channel. Marissa, thank you for becoming a tadpole, Marissa. Sheila, thank you for becoming a tadpole. Appreciate both of you so much. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I just got to text if you're a mod on YouTube, you need to check the mod chat, and Violet, I sent you a DM because you're not in there yet. So you can check out what I need modded there. I'll give you some kind of background on what needs to be modded, and everything else stays. So yeah, that's basically what's happening. Dixie, thank you for the clapping seal for 250 jewels. Appreciate it. I don't even know what the jewels are. I think it's a different. All right, if you are a Trump supporter, and you're still supporting Trump after this whole email debacle, call in at 908-652-3703. I'm interested in hearing your take. Although I imagine a lot of Trump supporters are scared right now to say that they admit Trump, and I think that's been the case since this dropped. Will they still support him? Yeah, but maybe they're scared to admit that they do. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're scared to admit that they do. But it's one of the two. I've been getting a lot of crash outs lately. You know how it goes. Just made a cup of coffee. Let's freaking go. Cup of coffee is always nice. I wish I had a cup of coffee right now, but I don't. I just have water. Sheffy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Sheffy. Aldo says, dope background. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, we're in a coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to give it a little ambiance. It kind of, gives somewhat of a calming feeling, We're sitting in a coffee shop talking politics. You know what I'm saying? Metal Dude, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thanks for all you do, Adam. We appreciate you. Appreciate you, Metal Dude. Thank you so much for the support. Couldn't do it without the support. That's for damn sure. Appreciate it. Coffee's a luxury in this economy for damn sure. If you are a Republican and you still support Trump through the emails, call in at 908-652-3703. I'm interested in hearing why you still support Donald Trump, even though all of this has happened. Why are you still supporting Trump at this point? Why are you okay with what's happening at this point? Is that who you are? Is that the label that you want? I would say this is pretty damning information. Call in, Plain Awful says, what did Trump do? You don't know what Trump did? Plain Awful, that's kind of scary that you don't know what Trump did. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty fucking terrifying that you don't know what he did. Get Trump a Bubba tea. Let's talk a little bit about Bubba, although I don't think this is the most important information. I will say Bubba could be anything from Ghislaine Maxwell's horse to Clinton to anyone.
Hey, man.
To accept.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter, and how old are you?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, how old are you?
32.
Okay, how old? All right, your service sucks, my guy. Sorry, you don't have good enough service to call in. Somebody, if you are a Trump supporter and you still support Trump through this entire email debacle, call in at 908-652-3703. This person said, why are we not supporting Trump? But first of all, I never supported Donald Trump. There's a number of things Donald Trump did, and you certainly can call in and I'll explain to you what I said, and I've said a million times, is there's two elements to this conversation. One is there's been a cover-up to conceal what's in the emails and the actions themselves. The actions themselves are a separate part of the conversation. Although I am talking about the actions, I'm not only talking about the actions. I'm also talking about the criminal effort by this administration to keep it a secret.
From
Jack Diamond.
Bro, how old are you?
18.
Okay, you sound like a little kid. Please stop calling. Sorry, man, you sound like a little kid. I don't want to discourage young people from being engaged in politics, but you don't sound 18. I'm sorry. I've explained this multiple times, guy. You can call in and have a conversation about it with me, and we'll talk about it, and I'll explain exactly what my accusation is in depth. But Donald Trump, I can absolutely prove exactly what I'm saying. There's two elements to the conversation. There's a cover-up, and there are the actions he committed. When I know Donald Trump was aware of it, I know that in a way he facilitated it. But at the very least, he knew about it, and he knew it was going on. And it was going on in his establishment in one case. I do know he spent time with him alone. which contradicts the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell. I know that she was given, special treatment for that meeting. So I have a lot of concerns.
Call from
Slayer.
So your first name is Slayer?
Correct.
Okay, and how old are you, Slayer?
38 years old.
Okay, and why are you supporting Trump through this email debacle?
I do not support Trump. I never supported Trump. I just thought he was the lesser of two evils.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did. It was only the third time in my life that I had ever voted. I am a veteran.
But you're in your late 30s, so that's pretty normal. But anyway, the point is, at least at a federal level, the point is, I guess that I'm making, is why were you okay with some of the things, like the things that he said prior, such as grabbing women without their consent, saying he'll date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He had a civil trial where he was found civilly liable of SA. Why were those things, like, now this shouldn't be a shock to you that all this other stuff is coming out in the emails, correct?
No, they're not a shock at all.
Well, why'd you vote for him? I don't understand. Why'd you vote for him knowing those things?
Harris would take office and things would get a lot uglier.
So they would get worse than a guy who's using the Department of Justice and the FBI to conceal criminal information about his involvement with the world's most infamous PDF file? Things can get worse than that?
Unfortunately, yes.
Really?
I don't think that, honestly, for the longest time, even serving for over a decade, that our votes really even matter. I think it's always been corrupt, fixed, and I wasn't even entirely confident that my vote even mattered.
Well, your vote does matter, but clearly you did because you took the time to go vote for him. But the question becomes, right? I'm glad. Are you no longer supporting him, or you are? I'm confused.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so all I'm saying is I'm glad that you've recognized that you can't support him anymore. I just think it's like, I want Trump supporters to remember, this didn't come out of nowhere, right? He was saying really disrespectful things. He was saying awful things. He was talking about essaying women long before these accusations came out. In fact, we knew he had a relationship with Epstein even back then. So if this is the reason, I would just encourage you next time to look for warning signs. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yep.
I want people to recognize that, they shouldn't support him anymore. But at the same time, let's not pretend that it came out of nowhere. If you still support Donald Trump after the emails that were released by the Oversight Committee, please call in at 908-652-3703, and we can have a conversation about why I do not think you should support Donald Trump anymore, why I think there's been an organized effort to cover up information and keep it from the American people. I don't think the administration's working in the best interest of the American public during this cover-up. I think that Donald Trump's latest truth, claiming that he wants Republicans to vote for the Epstein Transparency Act, is simply to try and make himself look better. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you?
55.
Okay, and why are you still a Trump supporter after reading the emails?
Is he convicted of the emails?
Was he convicted of the emails?
Yes.
So what you're telling me is he needs to be criminally convicted of pedophilia for you to stop supporting him.
Correct. Because I think in the email, let's stop. I'm talking.
I'm not talking.
Emails. Trump said it was an email from Trump to Epstein.
No.
Saying he wanted to pick out what women he wanted to pick out.
No, so
Okay.
I'll lay this out for you what this is. There's a couple different issues here, two different elements to the conversation. To what extent Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was, and the lengths Donald Trump is going to with his administration, including the Department of Justice and the FBI, to cover up whatever that relationship is. I know Donald Trump knew about it. I know Donald Trump, by his own admission, said he gave Jeffrey Epstein a warning at Mar-a-Lago when he knew that he was engaging in what they referred to as poaching young girls from his establishment. Do you give PDF files warnings when you know they're engaging in human trafficking, or do you automatically ban them from your establishment?
Do you know that? Are you 100% sure? That's what he said about it. What
He
poaching
said-
means?
Trump said...
I'm not just a discussion. No,
Okay.
Trump said what?
Bro,
Okay,
calm
so he
down.
said Trump.
Take a
I'm
deep
talking.
breath.
I
Take
am.
a deep
I
breath.
am talking. I'm fine. My question is to you is when you say Trump said that, give a warning or whatever you said, does that mean poaching as in like taking people from the state to have sex with, or that like when you poach a employee from another company?
He was taking them for the purpose of human trafficking. Yes, and
And that's what he said.
No, Trump said he gave.
That's what he said.
Are you going to let me finish, or are you just going to keep? Like,
Yeah,
you
but-
got to just stop talking for a second. You'll make it. Don't worry. I promise you. I'm going to rock you to sleep. By Trump's admission, he said he was aware. Once he became aware, he told him to stop. He gave him a warning. Do not do this anymore. Epstein was still at the establishment. According to their narrative, he wasn't banned until a young girl whose father was a member of Mar-a-Lago was sexually harassed, and then he was banned. So him being aware of it is not a surprise, especially now that you look in the emails and they're having a private conversation about how Trump knew about the young girls. Remember, these are private email conversations, in this case between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein and Michael Wolff. They're not they're just having private conversations. So the part of this that's significant beyond just the warning is Donald Trump sent Deputy Attorney Todd Blanche to go sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell before she testified in front of the Oversight Committee because he was concerned about what information would come out about him, right? She was then rewarded with a minimum. She was placed in a minimum security dorm as a reward for saying Trump wasn't criminally involved. Well, now when we look at those 2011 emails, they contradict what Ghislaine Maxwell said when they had no reason to lie before Trump was even in elected politics. So the question is, why, right, are you okay with the administration using the Deputy Attorney General, who, by the way, was Donald Trump's personal attorney during his criminal cases, represented him in the hush money case, sitting down on behalf of the president to keep information from the American people? Simultaneously, the survivors of this situation are desperately pleading to give testimony to the FBI under oath if they want to further the investigation. They ignored the survivors and met with the violent sex offender who has every reason to lie. Two aspects to the conversation: criminal conspiracy to cover up that information, and to what extent the relationship was. I don't know to what extent. I don't know if Donald Trump directly engaged in the behavior. What I know is that it's likely he knew about it. And what I know for sure is he's made an organized effort to keep it from the American people. And that I have a big problem with.
And you don't think the people who... Okay, so how many victims were there?
I don't know. There's a lot, though. Not even all of them have come forward.
Okay.
Possible to say.
Correct. And then several victims have said that Trump was not involved and did nothing illegal.
Some of the victims have said that, but many of them have not even come forward. So that's not... doesn't improve anything.
Okay.
Guys, I would appreciate everybody hitting the thumbs up button and sharing this out to your social media. Hit the thumbs up button, though. I would appreciate it. Everybody contributing to the gifting goal. All those things help push the live. Go ahead.
Okay.
Some of the victims, some of the survivors, I would prefer you.
Hello? Are you still there?
Yes. Calm down. Some of the survivors have said that Donald Trump didn't do anything to them, but I don't know what that proves. There's tons of victims that haven't even come forward yet.
Okay. So do you think we should investigate all the other victims and who perpetrated acts on top of them before we release the files?
So you want to investigate the victims now? Is that what you just said?
No.
Yes,
I
you
said
did.
victims. I said, do you want people who acted upon the victim? I said acted upon the victims. I'm sorry.
Who are you talking about now?
The people, the victims. Okay, so
One
to
is
have an
dead.
SAF,
Okay, hold on.
you need to.
One is dead, and one's already been
No.
criminally
That's what you need
convicted.
to-
Alicia, thank you for the $10 super chat,
Correct.
Alicia.
You have two people, correct? You're correct. They have arrested two people, correct?
Two people for what, sir?
Two people got arrested for these acts you're talking about.
One of them is dead, and you have Ghislaine
just,
Maxwell. Who are you trying to investigate?
that is. So I'm trying to investigate all the Johns that sexually attacked
Right.
these young women.
So you know what the best way to do that?
They should maybe,
So what's the best way to do that?
yes, I did.
Would the best way to do that?
And have them investigated.
They've refused
Don't say release the
to.
files.
Excuse me.
Release the files.
Calm down for a second.
Okay.
Stop talking. They
I'm
refuse to talk to the survivors. Shut up. They refuse to talk to the survivors. Okay, Kash Patel talked about this under oath. He was asked, why when the survivors are asking to give testimony under oath and asking to sit down with the FBI, you won't answer their calls? If you want to further investigate those people, why are you talking to the violent sex offender who has every reason to lie? And furthermore, why are you rewarding that violent sex offender with a minimum security prison where we now know because of leaks of prison security, right, that she's receiving preferential treatment? You don't talk to the violent sex offender. She has every reason to say whatever they want her to say, right, to get a deal. We accused them of that meeting being quid pro quo. They denied it.
Calm down, baby. Calm down. Take a breath. Take a breath, sir. Calm down and talk again. It's explain to me.
I'm sorry. That guy's just too fucking cringe to even talk to. It's honestly giving me a headache. It's not even worth my fucking time. MAGA, stop crying in the chat. If you're a mod here, just mute. Like, see this Richard guy says, Adam, you're a joke. Just silence his ass, right? Just go boom and silence him, right? Because he's too scared to call in. So that's why he says shit in the chat. Because if he ever called in, I would embarrass him. That's why he's talking smack in the chat. Because that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. No, that dude was like, I don't know. I'm not talking to that dude. Dude was creepy.
Call from
Joshua Mendoza.
to accept.
Joshua, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
And Joshua, why are you supporting Trump through the release of these emails by the Oversight Committee?
I find it that honest people tend to be more open. The more open they are, I feel like it's more efficient, really. Most people would like to try to hide it.
You find that honest people tend to be more open. That's typically how it would go. Can I ask you a question? Why are you still supporting Donald Trump through the release of these emails?
What do you mean? Why would it be an issue?
Why are you still supporting Donald Trump through the release of the emails? Have you read the emails?
Not all of them, no. But
Okay.
Unfortunately, why are the Democrats so...
Go read them, you shoe. You can't have a conversation about why you still support Donald Trump after the release of the emails if you've never read the emails. Emma Sloth, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Did I join the Freemasons? No. No, I didn't. Man, we got a lot of crybabies in the chat, and I don't see anyone getting muted. It's insane. People get muted who don't do anything, and then the people who say shit don't get, like, I don't understand that. Tell us what you know. Sure. What I know is that there's an organized effort to cover up information about this related to Donald Trump. How do I know that? Well, there's a couple things, and it's pretty common sense. Number one, Donald Trump told people to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein, right? He's dead. We don't want to talk about him anymore. Once it was released to the public that Pam Bondi had informed Donald Trump that he was in the files in late April, early May, Donald Trump, started flipping out about this, essentially. The Oversight Committee said, okay, you don't want to talk about this anymore. We're going to subpoena the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell. He immediately sent who was his personal attorney, now Deputy Attorney General, to sit down with her and secure the narrative about that story. She was rewarded with a transfer to a low-security prison where she's receiving preferential treatment. What I know is the director and deputy director of the FBI built careers on social media prior to becoming director and deputy director, claiming that the current director of the FBI, before they got in there, was in possession of a Rolodex that had all of the names of the clients of Jeffrey Epstein. Once they became director and deputy director, they now say there is absolutely no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked any young girls to anyone but himself. That's pretty highly concerning. Let me give you another example. So Donald Trump trying to convince Republicans not to sign the discharge petition, ultimately leading to a House vote on the Epstein Transparency Act. Really concerning. Met with Boebert for an extended period of time in the war room about this specific topic. What else concerns me? Donald Trump ordering the Department of Justice to launch an investigation into perceived political opponents as it pertains to Jeffrey Epstein and their relationship. Not because he wants to get to the truth, but he wants to muddy the water. But furthermore, it's a legal maneuver. In case this passes the Senate, Donald Trump will have the option of either ignoring it entirely, letting it sit, vetoing it, or signing the bill. Right? At that point, he would have to sign it, in my opinion, or he might as well just admit he's guilty and step down. But if there's an ongoing investigation, right, he can say the information about him pertains to an ongoing investigation, and that information will be redacted from anything that's released to the general public. These are examples of the first element of this conversation, which is the organized cover-up to keep this from the American people. Furthermore, you have, to what extent was his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? Did he physically engage in the abuse? Did he find it? I can't answer a lot of those questions. I can answer less about those questions. What I know for sure is there is damning information in those files. That I know for sure. And I know that there has been an organized effort to cover it up. Look, Donald Trump did not put loyalists in there because he was not, because he was not concerned about them or people of this eventually coming out, other things as well. He remembers during his last administration, right, that there were people who told him no. There were people who didn't have his back, including his vice president when he picked the Constitution over him. He wanted people who picked Trump over the Constitution, people who picked Trump over the United States of America. Right? And so as soon as he got elected, I remember Donald Trump Jr. said the transition is the most important part of his administration, making sure that we have loyal people in our cabinet and not bureaucrats. Not bureaucrats. What he means by bureaucrats are people that tell him no. So he surrounded himself, including the deputy director of the FBI, the director of the FBI, the chief of staff, the attorney general, the deputy attorney general. You have RFK Jr., Linda McMahon, Pete Hegseth. These are all people that are loyal to Donald Trump. And under no circumstance are they going to rat him out. And they are actively working in his favor. The responsibility of the Department of Justice is to work in the public's interest. They are not doing that. They are not working in the best interest of the public. They work for you. And they're not working for you. They're working against you because they know that when you read that information, you will not support him anymore. How can you be okay with that as a patriot? This guy says, you started off this rant with a disingenuous statement. Stop listening to you after that. Is that why you're still in here, you Christmas ornament? Is that why you're still in here, you Christmas ornament? If you stopped listening to me, you wouldn't be in here. This person said the Grizz is y'all a bunch of homophobes. I don't know who you're talking to, but we're talking about children. I'm not sure what you're speaking about, the Grizz. People calling out PDF files are homophobes? I'm not sure what you mean by that. This guy says, dude, you're so wrong on all of your points, except you're spelling you're wrong. I think it's crazy to tell someone they're wrong when you're spelling the word you're wrong. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. You can't tell people they're wrong and then spell the word you're wrong. It's remarkable that you do that and can't, it's insane. If you are a Trump supporter and you still support Donald Trump, call in 908-652-3703 if you support Donald Trump.
Call from.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay. And why are you a Trump supporter through all of this?
Through all of what exactly?
The emails that were most recently released, but now obviously debunking the idea that Ghislaine Maxwell was the key to the truth.
Who exactly released the emails? What official source released the emails? Because I'm seeing the emails being released via a lot of Twitter accounts, and it's being shared without any official source or tagging.
So, are you being serious or are you trolling me?
I'm asking you to answer the question.
Yeah,
who released
sure.
the email?
So the Oversight Committee has congressional subpoena power. They subpoenaed the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. You can go on house.gov and literally download the thumb drive. Did you just say Twitter accounts, dude? They're getting them from Congress.
Yeah, Twitter accounts.
They're getting them from Congress.
Why don't they subpoena Jeffrey Epstein's Pornhub account, or his Twitter account, or his MySpace?
Let me ask you something. Are you stupid? Did you just ask me why aren't they?
Are you stupid?
Did you ask me what? Did you just ask me?
Yeah. Why aren't they subpoenaing his
Did
MySpace?
you just ask me why aren't they subpoenaing his Pornhub account? That's your contribution to the show. That's your contribution.
Yeah. Why don't you go
That's
for
your
it?
contribution to the show. Listen. Go back to bed, okay? That's where you should start. You should start going back to bed. Tomorrow's a new day. Wake up in the morning and start over, okay? Wake up in the morning and start over. Holy moly.
Call.
How are you? Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I am not.
Okay, well, neither am I. How are you? Listen, I'm looking for Trump supporters, but I'll give you a minute. What's up?
I'm really not. I don't support anyone that is a traitor to the United States, and I honestly believe that Donald Trump is just that. I think he's a traitor.
I agree. Couldn't agree more, bro.
In every sense.
Every sense.
I think him lying reputably, and I'll be honest with you, I did vote for Trump. I did vote for Trump personally. If I could take it back, I 1,000,000% would. But I will say, now that all of this stuff is really coming to light, and a lot of other things too that you probably don't want to get into, and I probably won't get into, but
well,
it's just not good.
Here's the thing, right?
If
Only thing I can tell you is going forward, and I want this to be a lesson for you going forward, and I mean this because I don't know how old you are, but there were warning signs there, right? There weren't just warning signs there. I mean, it could slap you in the face how obvious, how obvious it was that he's engages in very creepy conduct. He openly condoned SA. Yeah, I grab women without their consent. I mean, there's your sign right there that he's. So I just suggest in the future, giving those things more consideration, right? Because this should be of no surprise. But I do appreciate, look, it's better late than never. Come around, admit you made a mistake, move forward. He absolutely is a traitor. He absolutely is the most unconstitutional president we've ever had, and it's better to admit that than go down with the ship. You don't have to go down with the ship. You know what I mean?
I absolutely agree. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, based off what I feel and based off things I've observed, at least in his last campaign, it was just all hype, you know, and sometimes a lot of people get caught up in it. And, you know, maybe I was one of those people. But I'd say maybe at that time, I would say that he was the lesser of, you know, pardon my language, bullshit going around. He was the lesser of the bullshit.
I hear what you're saying. I'm going to disagree with you on that big time, or as Trump would say, bigly. But look, it at the end of the day, you're recognizing that he is what he is, and that's what matters. Thanks for calling in, dude. Appreciate it. Take care. Let's move to the next guest here. If you're a Trump supporter and you still support Trump through all of this, and you believe that he is what's best for the country, call in at 908-652-3703 and tell me why you think that is the case. I'm not sure why so many Trump supporters say I have Trump derangement syndrome. I think having Trump derangement syndrome is still supporting Trump after the release of these emails. I think being a patriot is standing up for the country, the Constitution, right? What's in the best interest of the American people. That's what I care about. I care about what's in the best interest of the American people. And I'll tell you this right now. It's not just about Trump. It's about far more than
Call
Trump.
from.
It is about every scummy politician who ever engaged in any kind of corruption with this guy, anybody who engaged in inappropriate conduct of any kind needs to be exposed. Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian. I don't care what you claim your political affiliation is. I don't care what your political affiliation is. This country can't move forward unless we get rid of these scummy politicians. And that's a fact.
100%.
Trump's the president of the United States. So you need to accept that the president of the United States is implicated here and going to be a part of that. What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Oh, yeah, we're done with.
Okay, what's your first name?
Tommy.
I can't hear you. Are you doing something else? I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, are you on Bluetooth or something?
Yeah, I got my headphones in.
Yeah, that's why. You got to call me back when you remove the Bluetooth. I don't know what's going on there. You sound too far away. It's not going to be good for the listening audience here. Let's take another call here.
Call from.
Cedric.
What's your first name?
Cedric.
Cedric, why are you still supporting Donald Trump after the Oversight Committee's release of these emails?
Just to slow down the immigration and.
So what you're telling me is you really don't care if he facilitated or participated in this behavior, you would still support him, even if he's a PDF file or knew about this kind of behavior?
No.
Okay, so then I ask you, why are you not outraged that they've been actively trying to keep it from the American public?
Well, yeah, I am outraged, but what can we do about it?
You can stop supporting him.
What can we do about it?
Do you think it's patriotic to support? And again,
What is that going to do? I mean, what's that going to do? Stop supporting any of them? Because I've been listening to you, all these politicians. It's just going to keep going on. It don't matter if I stop supporting whoever's in there. It's just not ever going to stop.
Listen, let me explain something to you. This is so much bigger than Trump, but Trump's going to go down with them all. There's tons of them in these files, and they're all going to be fucking exposed, and they're all going to be removed, and our country's going to be better off for it. Is it going to be perfect? No, we have issues with AIPAC.
By who, though? By who, though?
By the American people.
By who? Who's going to remove
By the
them?
American people.
When are we going to do that? We can't even. We're so divided. We're not. When are we all going to unite and do that?
The start is getting them released. You can't claim you want what I just said, which is the truth, and support a president who's using the Department of Justice and the FBI and people in his cabinet to conceal this information. When Trump said,
all these presidents have done the same thing. All of them do the same thing. Okay, they're all on the same team. How do we fix that?
They don't all do the same thing, but
of course they do.
There's a lot of corruption in our political system, but they don't all do the same thing. Why can you not just say you don't support it? Why can't you say you don't support what Trump is doing and therefore don't support him anymore? You're trying.
Didn't I just say that to you?
No,
you just
because you're saying
you still
because you're saying you still support him.
No, I didn't say I still support him.
So you don't support him anymore.
You didn't ask me that. You said you support what's been said.
I did ask you that. You said you don't support him anymore?
No, because he's not doing nothing he said except for the immigration. And on that subject, he should just embrace all the illegals and try to get them on his side if that's the whole. Because that's never going to work. You're not going to get 25 million people out of here. You try to get them to. I don't know, man. I don't know what the. I don't know what the. I don't know what we're going to do, man. So what are you saying? What are you saying? Do you want a revolution? What do you want?
Here's what I want. I don't think that you can continue our system the way it is, our democratic constitutional republic, with corrupt PDF files. You know what? In order to have a democratic constitutional republic, you have the people have to entrust in the integrity of the system. If they don't trust the system, it all collapses. So I think if we don't get full access to what's happening here and who was involved and to what extent each person was involved, I think it will be the end of our constitutional republic. The end. I think it will be the end.
Do you think we're ever going to get that, though?
I don't know. I think that's what I'm fighting for. That's what I'm talking about. I think if we do get the truth, it's going to be ugly for a while. It's going to look ugly for a while. But at the end of the day, I think we end up better off. That's what regardless, this is going to be ugly. But I think we're better off. We can really get back to politicians working for the American people, right? Rather than working for themselves. And this is an example of just that. Thank you for calling in, though. I got to move to the next caller. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Let's move to the next person. If you are a Trump supporter and you still support Trump, that's an important element here. I'm getting a lot of people who don't support Trump anymore. If you still support Trump, stand 10 toes down and tell me you still support him, and I'll explain why you shouldn't. You cannot, as a patriot, witness what's happening right now and claim that Donald Trump is working in your best interest. The Department of Justice is there for a specific reason, to work in the best interest of the general public, and they're not doing that.
From
Katie.
Katie, are you a Trump supporter?
I am, but I am more of a American interest is best supporter.
Okay.
But I have a couple of questions. Because I'm trying to clarify the standpoint here. Just for context purposes, 4 years ago, when the Russia collusion was at its highest point, where did you stand?
This is not related to the topic. If you would like to talk about the topic, again,
but it is.
But it's not. It's not. So I don't want to pivot away from the topic because this is a whataboutism, and I'm not doing whataboutisms. Why do you?
No, it's not a whataboutism. When we're talking, I'm sorry.
Those cases.
The reason why I think it connects is because you were saying how Trump weaponized the FBI, the DOJ, so on and so forth.
He is.
And it was proven that Obama's administration did weaponize it. But as far as the Epstein emails go, what I got out of it is that Epstein couldn't stand Trump. He was working with the Democrats trying to take him down.
It's not true.
It is. He was text messaging the one congresswoman from
yeah, that's not trying
from the one woman. Where was she? The Thousand Islands.
Stacey Plaskett. Yes.
When they were questioning, he was text messaging her.
Plaskett. Yes, I know. Can I ask you a question? I
Sure.
didn't say it's limited to
Absolutely.
one.
I'll be happy to answer the questions that I'm asked.
Okay, it's not limited to one politician. The corruption runs very deep in this case. All right, but that's not the point. Trump is concealing.
I
Hold on,
wholeheartedly
just let me.
agree.
Can I just?
But
I
that's
just
why
need
I'm
to speak,
asking.
But please let me speak uninterrupted, okay? Otherwise, I can't get my point across. Corruption runs very deep here.
Absolutely.
It has much more to do with just Donald Trump, but Donald Trump is concealing it for his own personal interest. The question is
Well,
this.
I think he has friends that are connected, and I think that's one of the reasons.
No,
I do.
we already
I think
know.
he has friends that were connected.
But did you read the emails? The 2011 emails contradict testimony.
We already know what?
The 2011 emails between Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein contradict what Ghislaine Maxwell told Todd Blanche in that deposition. Right? She's being
I'm
deposed.
not going off of anything.
No, but what I'm explaining to you is, why would you send your... Do you know who Todd Blanche is?
Yes.
Okay, who is he?
He is an attorney, isn't he?
He was. What is he now?
I think he's a representative of some
He's
sort,
the
isn't he?
Deputy Attorney General.
There's so many names
He's
to
the
remember.
Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Okay? He was Trump's
there we go.
personal attorney. He just defended him in the hush money case. Okay? So that's important to know when we're talking about corruption here. Donald Trump told people to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein. He said he's dead, we're moving on, blah, blah, blah. We now know that's because Pam Bondi informed him he's in the files. Okay? That's why he wanted
First of all, don't trust Pam Bondi to begin with.
No,
However,
this is information. Hold on. Can I please finish? I'm not done. So Pam Bondi informs him he's in the files. All right.
Oh, you were cutting out.
So Pam Bondi informs him that he's
Where are you getting this whole Pam Bondi informed him that he was in the files?
It came out, it leaked that Pam Bondi informed him through inside sources that Pam Bondi informed him that he was in the files. Can I just finish my statement, please? Thank you. So,
well, absolutely. I'm just trying to figure out where you're coming from.
But you gotta let me make my point, though. It takes more than 20 seconds for me to explain what's going on. You have to stop interrupting.
Well, I understand that, but when I ask you questions, you say...
You got to let me speak. I'm sorry. I gave you multiple chances. You've got to let me speak. I can't explain if you don't stop talking. You literally can't control yourself. If you can't control yourself, I can't speak to you. It's very simple if you let me explain, but you have to let me talk for more than 10 seconds. It's impossible for me to explain what's happening if you don't let me speak. Right? And this is why I'm not going to keep explaining it every time I hang up, because when you guys come up, you ask me the same question and then I have to repeat it again. There's no whataboutism. There's no pivoting. There's no moving the goalpost here. You either support the president working in the best interest of the American people or you don't. Jonathan, are you a Trump supporter?
Of course.
Well, of course is not an answer. A lot of people aren't anymore, Jonathan. So, Jonathan, let me ask you a question that previous lady wouldn't answer. Do you think that it is concerning that the President of the United States would send the Deputy Attorney General to sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell right before she's about to get subpoenaed for her testimony in front of the Oversight Committee, right? And then we find out in these emails that information contradicts what she told Todd Blanche, which is, I've never seen Donald Trump. Do you think that's evidence?
So you are breaking up just a little bit.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What'd you say? I think you're lagging. I think you're lagging. I'm sorry. You're lagging or something. I don't know what's happening. So I'm going to explain this again for everyone in here so I don't have to repeat it. Okay? This is what we're going to do, because instead of just answering a call and repeating it 600 times, I'm going to say it and then I'll ask for you to call in and respond to it. There's multiple examples I can give you. Nope, you're going to wait until I'm done.
Phil.
No, Phil, you're going to wait until I'm done. So now I'm just going to explain this to everybody. Here's the point, okay? There's a number of different reasons, right? There's a number of different ways he's tried to keep this from the American people. Number one, claiming he can do nothing to force the release of these files when he claimed during his presidency he can declassify anything by just thinking about it. That was actually his excuse for the documents case when he was indicted there for willful retention and obstruction of justice. But he's done things like involved the deputy attorney general who's essentially working for Trump directly. If you don't believe that, then I guess you're just naive. To get Ghislaine Maxwell to say that Trump was never involved criminally with Jeffrey Epstein. As a reward for saying that, Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a minimum security dorm in Camp Bryan, Texas. She's a violent sex offender. So now I ask you, why, as a patriot of this country, are you okay with her being moved to a minimum security dorm as a violent sex offender where people are housed for committing like tax-related crimes when she directly participated in the abuse? That reward was simply for saying that Donald Trump didn't have any criminal involvement with Epstein. Furthermore, the emails now that we're reading, those subpoenaed from the oversight committee, from the Epstein estate, right, contradict that she never saw him in private, because 2011, long before Donald Trump was ever in elected politics, shows Epstein telling Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump was in the presence of an Epstein victim, right, in his home for several hours. She said she never saw him privately. Donald Trump sees that the Epstein Transparency Act is eventually going to go to the House. He tries to convince Republicans not to sign the discharge petition. That doesn't work, right? Once he realizes that's not going to work, he then orders the Department of Justice to conduct another investigation into his perceived political opponents so that way he can keep the information classified even if it passes the Senate. People, understand something. He came out last night and said, I'm okay with people voting to release these files. We're not concerned because we're not in them and we didn't do anything wrong. After everything you've seen with Ghislaine Maxwell, after everything you've seen before this, now suddenly he comes out last night and he says, yeah, I don't care if they get released. He was just trying to convince Boebert not to sign the discharge petition. What does common sense tell you? It's a legal maneuver. You launch this investigation because even if it passes the House, and even if it passes the Senate, and even if it goes across the president's desk, the information pertaining to Trump can be redacted and removed because there's an ongoing criminal investigation, and they can claim that information pertains to the ongoing investigation. That's why he's confident now, because you're never going to see the part with him. The question is, why are you okay with that? Why are you okay with that level of corruption? How can you be okay with that? That's what I challenge Trump supporters to understand. It's almost like he understands you're so undereducated, so naive, that you're not going to be able to figure out that this is an organized effort. Should I just use the word dumb? It's right in front of your face, and you patriots claim that it's okay. Give me one logical explanation why you would send the Deputy Attorney General to sit down with a known violent convicted sex offender for the truth and ignore the survivors who are offering to give testimony in front of the FBI under oath if you want to further the investigation. Give me one logical explanation why you would sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell. Especially when you said, we're done with Epstein. No, they were done with Epstein until the Oversight Committee was going to subpoena her testimony. And then they were fucking scared. Are you a Trump supporter?
No, but I did have a...
Let me know if you're a Trump supporter and you want to call in. You know what I'm getting? All of a sudden, I'm getting a bunch of people who, no, I'm not really a Trump supporter. No, I'm not really. You know why? Because you guys don't want to answer for your support for Trump. So you can come in here and, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I got to say, I disagree with you. Yeah, sure. You're a fucking Trump supporter. So stand 10 toes down and admit you support Trump, right? Or don't. Abandon your support for this treasonous president, this the most unconstitutional president we've ever had. What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Wolfman Jack.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, totally.
What'd you say? Your name is Wolfman Jones?
Wolfman Jack. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Wolfman. Why are you still supporting Trump through the release of these emails?
Well, I really don't give a shit either way about whether or not he releases the emails. I think that what he's doing right now, as far as opening people's eyes to what is actually like, who's actually the movers and shakers of who actually runs our country.
I guess I don't know what you mean. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of like getting feedback from like watching your stream and then using it on the phone at the
You
same
have
time.
to turn my stream off. You have to turn my stream. Like you have to.
Basically, what I'm
you have to
getting
turn
at,
the volume down on my stream, dude. Turn the volume down on my stream.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, you know, he's gotten himself involved in all this stuff, and I mean, I'm kind of with you. I think it's very obvious that he is involved with this. He has had relations, let's say, with the doings of Jeffrey Epstein and all of his constituents, but he does it in such a way that he's basically brought to the forefront all of these people that nobody really would have ever heard about, nobody would have ever given a shit about, and has put them front and center in front of the entire world. And because he is implicated in all of this shit, he's just basically making these people shove their foot in their mouth over and over again. It's become more and more blatant to the American public. Oh, you're lying, and there's an actual shadow group that controls our entire way of governance.
So
but it's not like.
So are you saying that he is involved like criminally with Epstein, or he's doing this deliberately to expose other people in like? Because that sounds like some kind of weird conspiracy. Like, what was he like? Is he criminally involved with Epstein or not?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, so then why are you still
I would
supporting
say that
him?
he's been, because he's doing such a bad job of running cover.
But,
like, just because I support him doesn't mean I want him to succeed.
What?
Do you not get that you can support somebody and you support them not because you want them to succeed, because they are doing such a spectacular job of failing?
Say that again.
I support Donald Trump because he does such a good job at failing to basically take the heat off of the people that are implicated along with him.
Who did you vote for?
He sits there and just, I don't vote. I think democracy is a sham.
Okay.
We're a constitutional republic, as you said.
We are, but that's a type of democracy, technically speaking. But I'm confused at...
Well, our founding fathers didn't really care for it too much. I'm pretty sure Thomas Jefferson
You're
said
talking
something
about
to the effect of democracy is 51% of the population.
That's a direct democracy. There's different types of democracy.
Inflicting
Yeah, there's different types of democracies, though. So, but the point I'm making is
Well,
are you MAGA? Let me ask you this: Are you you're MAGA because Trump is doing a bad job of keeping corrupt people hidden?
No. I didn't say that.
Well, I don't know what you said. I'm very confused.
I said because I support him and his goals. His goals are to basically destroy what is left of the United States. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
So you want
However,
the country
the way
destroyed?
that he is going about, well, no, not at all. However, the way that he's going about doing so is so spectacularly bad. Like, say, for instance, his relationships with Netanyahu, Bibi. Like, he gets this guy, and just every time he's around, he's just like, oh, BB, do you need some more weapons? Yeah, sure, we'll get it right on the line for you. Just sucking them off every fucking chance that
Thanks
he
for
gets.
calling in, bro. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate you calling in, man. I got to move to the next guy. Once we get to, like, doing that with Netanyahu, I think once you start, like, making the noises that Netanyahu would make or Trump would make when he's giving Netanyahu the Glock, I got to move on. You know, I don't want to hear Trump and Netanyahu giving each other the Glock 3000. I'm good on that note. Guys, if you're new here, I would appreciate hitting the subscribe button, hitting the notification bell. If you would like to, I'd appreciate supporting the live by contributing to the gifting goal. There's a super chat goal there. I would appreciate supporting the live. If you do enjoy the live, make sure you guys subscribe. I usually debate on TikTok. I just recently started debating on YouTube. Would appreciate hitting the subscribe button and the bell so you guys know when I'm live, so you don't miss any political debate lives. Another one. Thank you for the $1.99. I don't know what that was. Another one. I honestly don't know what that guy was talking about. I got to be honest. That was very confusing. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that guy was trying to say. I really don't. I tried to hang in there, and, like, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what that was about. That was crazy. If you are a Trump supporter and you're still supporting Donald Trump through the release of these emails, let's hear you call in. Let's hear your opinion as to why you're still supporting him at 908-652-3703.
Call from.
Who's this? Sorry, man. Your service sucks. Wenchy, thank you for the 50 Norwegian. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Heather, thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate your support. I really do. Thank you so much, Heather. You guys can also hit the thumbs up button, you know. Hitting the thumbs up button helps too. If you are a Trump supporter, right, and you do support Donald Trump right now, give a call in. The number's right there. What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, yes, I am definitely.
Okay, and why are you?
I just don't understand why.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I just don't understand the big deal about the Epstein files. Now that Trump's the president, I mean, they've been around for how long? For 10, 15 years? We've known that there's been pedophiles and people in power that can, pretty much control everything, and now it's a big deal to the Democratic Party. I mean, it's crazy. It just blows my mind how now, it's a big issue. And, when Biden was president, no one cared. Now, everybody's, amazed about how many pedophiles there are in the world. Like,
yeah, I'm not
crazy.
amazed by it at all. I want it exposed, though. So, number one, Epstein died in 2018. He was arrested in 2018. He died in custody in 2019. The calls to release those files started in 2020-ish, right? Partially because his death sparked a number of different investigations. And then, of course, you had Ghislaine Maxwell's investigation and ultimate prosecution. If you're saying it doesn't matter, I'm going to ask you this question, and I hope you'll be honest with me. Do you believe Donald Trump is criminally implicated in these files? Okay. If you believe Donald Trump is criminally implicated, then how can you possibly support a PDF file or somebody who at least facilitated that behavior as president of the United States?
you know the biggest problems about that situation alone itself is because it's Trump. It's crazy how the Democratic Party and their mentality is to take. They don't care about taking down Bill Clinton and Jay Morgan and whoever. They don't care who they have to take out on their side to take out Trump. And it blows my mind. And look, honestly, like Trump says, look, and it's the scary thing about it is that we really don't know if Trump. Hear me out. We really don't know if Trump is definitely inside, like on paperwork or whatever. If Biden or whoever could have like put his name on paperwork, on files, and just fucking put him in there, and then now Trump is a pedophile.
Biden has.
We all know he was best friends with your boy, but.
Well, let me just address this here. So, number one, Biden's never been in possession of the files, so that would be impossible. Lisa Lee, thank you for the $4.99. They believe that if he burns it all down, it will cause. Hold on one second, bro. They believe that if he burns it all down, it will cause economic unrest, and that everything will be like after World War II. I was told this. I've seen that take before, Lisa. I don't think that's what that guy was saying, though. I don't think that's Mary. Thank you for becoming a tadpole. Thank you so much, Lisa, for the super chat. So here's the thing, man. Right. There's a couple different parts to this. So you brought up the J.P. Morgan stuff. First of all, that stuff is Trump's doing. He's ordering the Department of Justice to investigate these political opponents. Did you ever look a little bit further into why he would be doing that? It's obvious. It's because he knows that the Epstein Transparency Act is is going to be voted on tomorrow, I think. Chat, you can fact check me, but the Epstein Transparency Act is supposed to be voted on tomorrow, Tuesday, right? If it passes,
yeah, it should. It should.
So if it passes, it goes to the Senate, and then the president has the option to veto it or sign it, right? If he vetoes it, they're going to know he's guilty. He'll have to sign it. So what does he do? This is a legal maneuver to keep that information redacted. Hold on. That information. Information pertains to an ongoing investigation. It can remain redacted. I don't think we're ever going to get the files under this administration, and you should have a problem with that. There's only one reason why. It's because he's criminally implicated. If it was as easy as Biden to edit them and put his name on it, why wouldn't it be as easy as Trump to edit his name off it and put Biden's name on it? See how that makes no sense?
And that's my point. Exactly. And no, it does make sense. That's my point. Like, you really believe that the government, even when they do something correctly, is going to do it correctly. They're going to give us whatever they want to give us. They can give us, like, let's say another, like, 100,000 pages of, like, Epstein files and tell us that's it. And, like, we can argue that we want more, because I'm not saying that I don't want to see the Epstein files, and we want to make sure that everybody that needs to be in prison needs to be in prison. But people that are believing that the Epstein files are going to give us the answers, it's completely, you're a complete fool if you believe that the Epstein files is going to show anybody that needs to be in prison. Like, no, the deep state is so much, they have so much control that
let me say
it's crazy that we believe that you, me, and my neighbor are going to find out if Trump is on.
I heard you, man. I got it.
I'm sorry, what?
I got your take. I got it. I understand what you're trying to say. So let me just say this. No one's saying that it will be 100% everyone will be held accountable because of these files. But if Donald Trump, if it was as easy as just removing his name, or as easy enough to just edit it and put his name on there, then it would be easy to just remove his name. I'm giving you, right? I'm telling you, there is an organized attempt by Trump to keep this away from the American people. If that's the case, then you have to concede that he's criminally involved. In those files, it proves his criminal relationship with Epstein. To what extent, I don't know. But definitely criminal and damning information.
All right, so now, like, this is the last point I'm gonna give you from my point of view. I honestly called because I'm a big fan. I watch your videos all the time. I think I'm subscribed. But I'm not actually a Trump supporter. I was trying to see you argue it from my point of view. I was trying to see if there was any doubt in my mind that, that you might have been closed-minded. But you're not. If Trump wanted the files out, he would have easily, done it. He could do that. He's the president of the United States. If he wanted to release all the files, he could have been done and released them. But he doesn't. Do I believe that he's in it? He might be in it. But do I believe that we're going to get the facts and the truth? No, we're not going to get into that.
All right, well,
we're lying to ourselves if we believe that Trump is going to allow any information with his name's out.
All right, thanks for calling, dude. I'm not sure what the test was there, but here's the thing, man, right? Like, all I'm saying is this. You guys have to understand something. I do not have this ridiculous, unrealistic expectation that everybody who's ever engaged in any criminal behavior with Epstein will be held accountable. What I do know, though, is their efforts to keep it from the public prove to me there is a lot in there. I went through it. The Maxwell stuff, this launching an investigation here, the things the FBI and Kash Patel said under oath. Kash Patel looked in the eyes of the American people and said there's no evidence that any young girls were trafficked to anyone but Epstein himself. Really? Why don't you go ask Prince Andrew if that's the case? He's being ostracized right now. And that's what needs to happen in the United States. At the very least, if we have any hope as a country moving forward, we need to hold these people accountable, and that includes Donald Trump. I have no fantasies that Democrats are not on this list. I have no fantasies that there aren't powerful Democrats that will be exposed in this process. Put them all in prison. I don't have loyalty to one party or another when it comes to this particular situation. This is beyond party politics. This is about the future of this country, the integrity of our system, and the American people. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else. That's it. There's no party loyalty when it comes to this crap. That being said, Trump supporters are not able to connect with me on this issue because you're not willing to abandon your support for him. Democrats have been polled on this issue. Democrats are overwhelmingly in support of releasing the files. It's not the case for the Republican voter base right now. Overwhelmingly, Democrats have been in support of it, according to recent polling. Overwhelmingly. That shows me Democrats don't care who comes out, because I certainly don't care. But you can't claim you're a patriot and be okay with Donald Trump's attempt to weaponize the Department of Justice, the FBI, to conceal this information from the American people. You can't turn your back on that and then say, oh, Joe Biden did this or that, blah, blah, blah. Call it like you see it. If you still support Trump through the Oversight Committee, releasing these emails, give a call in. Let's hear your take.
Call from.
You can call in at 908-652-3703. If you guys are new here, I'd appreciate hitting the subscribe button. I just started debating on YouTube. I've been debating online for several years. I'm on TikTok. If you've never followed me on TikTok before, how many of you in here are from TikTok?
Andrew.
I'm seriously curious how many people are in here from TikTok and how many are not. How many people are in here from TikTok? If you're in here from TikTok, type 1 in the chat. If you're in here from TikTok, type 1 in the chat. I just want to see how many people from TikTok are watching. What's going on, Andrew? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. But I will tell you, I'm not a supporter of anything that happened on the Epstein Island and in his situation. So as a supporter now is a supporter until proven guilty. And that's kind of the part that I struggle with, is that as soon as this stuff hits the media, people are instantly ready to say guilty because, unfortunately, it would be primarily the left have been looking for a smoking gun ever since Trump's name came into thought for office. And so something like this, as though it is huge and a very big deal, I think we should give due process and then let the chips fall where they may. If he's guilty, put him in jail. My support is not for...
Let me say this really quick.
Yep.
I don't disagree with you. I would never say someone doesn't deserve due process in a million years. Hence why I'm against Donald Trump, shooting missiles at vessels, right? And claiming that they're narco traffickers. I always will support due process, even if it comes out that he has engaged in this behavior. That being said, maybe you weren't here when I explained this. There are two different elements to this conversation. One is to what extent the relationship with Epstein went, right? And then the other one is the effort, the conspiracy to cover it up. I don't know if he directly engaged in the abuse. I don't know if he knew about it and still hung around him, or knew about it and let him frequent his establishments. I think that's just as bad. In my opinion, that right there is enough for me. I don't need to know that he directly engaged in it. If he knew about it, which I could probably make a case for you right now as to why I think he did know about it, by his own admission, he gave Jeffrey Epstein a warning at Mar-a-Lago when he knew, according to Epstein, they were poaching young girls from there. That's highly concerning. But the effort for him to keep it from the American people is the problem I have currently, right? I know this is bigger than Trump. I want everyone's name out there, and I think he's doing it for selfish personal reasons. I don't think we're going to get the files. I do believe it's going to pass. I hope it passes the House, which I think it will. If it passes the House, that's going to apply pressure to the Senate for the first time. I still don't think, even if it passed the Senate, we're going to get the information, because he just launched an investigation, which I think is ultimately going to keep that information from coming out, at least in its true form, in its full form. That should piss people off. Now, that remains to be seen, right? That remains to be seen, and I guess we'll see. But his efforts, like even trying to talk Boebert out of signing the discharge petition and all the stuff he's done, it's so obvious what he's doing. And if Trump supporters applied even half the pressure Democrats are, he would have no choice.
Right. You know, you are today talking specifically about the Epstein situation. I guess the struggle as a Republican is that I'm only forced today to support one person because that's who's in office, right? You don't get a second choice for Republican president or a third option. We get who we get. So you're probably never going to find a single president or somebody wanting for that position to not have skeletons in the closet. I mean, I think we can all agree that in order to get to a level of power, it's very rare that people can do it by good grace, sadly. And, and so when these things can be proven, I am all for getting rid of the bad people out there. And it's hard to say if you're a Trump supporter, I'm a supporter of the positive things involving my life and those around me. But I can say that I also disagree with Trump and Republicans on many topics. The reality is I get two choices, and I've got to weigh out my own personal options. And it's so vindictive that since his name came up, that it's a constant battle to find the next "I got you."
I don't, but that's not what I think.
Ever agree
but here's
on
the
left
problem.
And the right.
Here's the problem. You guys claimed that with the criminal indictments, right? And I've debated this thoroughly, and it wasn't the case. Here's the point. This is a separate thing. This is something that predates his time in elected politics. Maybe I'm not naive enough to believe there are not people out there that simply want to see it because they dislike him. The truth is, though, for the majority, people don't want pedophiles in government. They don't want people, President of the United States, who are engaged in PDF file behavior at all. And I'm
100% agree.
So, but here's the point. Here's
agree.
the point. Yeah. You said skeletons in their closet. We're not talking about skeletons. Everybody has bad, negative things or did something stupid, whatever. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about PDF files here. This isn't skeletons in the closet. This isn't any behavior you can come back from, right? And I think whether it's he came out and disclosed what the extent of that relationship was and lied about it, and that it went on much longer than it did. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's he witnessed it. Maybe he participated in it. Whatever the case, he's actively using the Department of Justice. He's actively using his administration to keep that from the American people. You say there is nothing I can do now because he's already been elected. Well, we have a line of succession, right? You could say, look, I'm going to advocate for the president to step down, and I want the vice president as the person first in line of succession to take his place. The vice president immediately assumes the presidency. Why not advocate for the vice president to take the role of the president?
No,
I wouldn't support. I don't like J.D. Vance either, but I would at least say, well, at least you're making an effort to stop supporting the person who's giving the order, which is him.
What is the expected timeline? Because these release of Epstein files, as the previous caller mentioned, it's been out for a few years. some new information came recently in the last couple weeks. But when you read, whether it's social media or the public news, there are far too many people who are just deeming him a pedophile without proof, and those are the strong words that become really difficult to deal with. Trust me. If there was a person who came forward and said, this person is the person that was in the room with me, we'll let it be Donald Trump or Prince Andrews or whoever, that person hasn't come forward, but automatically media of all kinds is already putting a label on it, and that's what's dangerous. It's putting a label. I'm saying go for it. Please find every evidence to prove whatever is needed for proof. But it's the dangerous words that are used until we have proof that scares me from both sides.
Well, here's let me respond to that. So, number one, you asked me about the timeline. Let's start there. They're expected, I believe, to vote on this tomorrow. I haven't checked since this morning. I think it was supposed to be tomorrow, but sometime this week. Okay? If that passes the House, then it goes to the Senate. Okay? And then the Senate, it would need at least 60 votes to pass, right? And then President Trump would need to sign it to become law. I think the American people are expecting they're not ever going to get that information, even with the vote in the House. Okay?
Right.
Because as soon as, first of all, his efforts to try and switch to get Republicans not to sign the discharge petition, but furthermore, then launching an investigation. The American people are not dumb. They know that so you can keep information classified. What would you expect some Americans to do when they have information that this guy gave this guy a warning, when they have information that, let's just talk outside of the Epstein files for a second. He told a 10-year-old girl, I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. That's on tape. That's on videotape. He said that he grabs women without their consent. Right? And he can do it because he's rich and famous. I just start kissing them. I grab him by the vagina. That's why people are concluding that he's a creep. And so, I don't think it's outrageous for them to make this leap with the information that we already have. Here's the thing. I don't know, personally, me, right? Personally, did he directly engage? I don't know. Yeah. If I had to bet my life on it, I would probably say yes. I don't know. But I do know for sure that he knew about it. And for me, what the extent of that relationship, really, at this point, it matters, but at the same time, it doesn't in terms of his job as president of the United States. I think he needs to step down. And there's just no other way.
Go
ahead.
Here's my question though, right? So your topic is Trump. Do we feel that it can't make it through House and Senate and his ultimate signature just because of his potential name involved, or is it possible that there are some very big people out there that have deep pockets supporting one side or the other that people will vote no because of who all it could unveil? Could Epstein's initial plan, I'm going to go off topic here, similar to what we hear about Diddy, is that it was almost a leverage, using something so criminal against powerful people to protect him, which only lasted for so long. But are we only not going to see it because of Trump's name, or are we not going to see it because of who other names may be on there?
Can we just use common sense for a second? Do you honestly believe the guy that said months ago Epstein's dead and we don't need to talk about it anymore has suddenly new interest in advancing and furthering the investigation? Or do you think it's more likely that it's a legal maneuver to potentially redact? Because the Department of Justice can claim the information in those files are related to an ongoing investigation, even if it passes the Senate. That information remains redacted, remains sealed by a court. So that's the problem I have. It's common sense in Epstein anymore. Telling people in the administration, stop talking about Epstein, he's dead, and then sending his deputy attorney general to go sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell as soon as he finds out the oversight committee is going to subpoena her testimony. That's not a coincidence. That's obvious. He's trying to secure the narrative. It's obvious when he launches and orders the DOJ to launch an investigation into political opponents. He's tired of seeing his name and next to Epstein's in the media. He wants to muddy the waters, but it's a legal maneuver to further redact this information, even if the Epstein Transparency Act passes, right? Why is he working so hard to get Boebert not to sign on the discharge petition? Why is the FBI, the director of the FBI, now saying there's no evidence that Epstein trafficked any young girls to anyone but himself? The same director of the FBI that said there was a black Rolodex in the possession of the previous director of the FBI. This is not all a coincidence. I can very obviously conclude it's about Trump's criminal involvement.
Sure.
Right? So
Here's
whether
the
there's
ultimate
other
question,
people
though.
or not is irrelevant. It doesn't matter, is the point.
Yeah.
The point is he's doing it selfishly.
No, well, sure. All I said was there's a lot of people with a lot of power in this country of names we don't even know, and they may be colluding on helping to keep this stuff hidden. My final point, and I'll let you go because I appreciate this is actually a very good conversation between two sides. I don't know even if you're a Democrat or not because you didn't volunteer it. So, but if you are, this is probably
I'm on the left.
This is the best Right. This is the best conversation I've had, and I wish more of this would happen because the reality is anything I would say would not change your mind about your party, and probably nothing you will say will change me about my party. We're speaking about an individual, and I do hope for this case and any future case that our system in government follows the right processes to work these things out. Whether they're slow, whether they're quick, whether he needs to be impeached and removed and stepped down and all those things, I don't know. There's really nothing much I can say that will change it. There's nothing much you can say. We can get a whole big party of people and nothing will probably change. The system has to work itself out. And if it doesn't, that's a failure for today and the future.
Listen,
unfortunately.
All I will say is this. We can't move forward as a country without getting the absolute. What I will say is just this final thing for you to take with you. I hope that you can separate this conversation into two different parts, like I've been trying to explain to Trump supporters. The conspiracy to cover it up and whether or not he directly engaged in the abuse are two different things, right? I don't need to know specifically what he did with Epstein to know he's keeping it from the American people because there's something damning in the files about him. That's enough for me to say this is impeachable and he should step down. Period. You shouldn't. This isn't the role of the Department of Justice to run around trying to defend you and secure narratives. This isn't what this country. It doesn't supposed to run like that, right? If we can't move forward as a democratic constitutional republic, unless we have 100% transparency regarding this particular issue, people will lose trust in the system eventually and it will collapse. That I can guarantee you. So things will be ugly regardless going forward for a little while. But will they be ugly for the better or will they be ugly for the worse? And that's why I'm encouraging Trump supporters to let go of their support for Donald Trump. We can disagree on policy later, but let go of your support for Donald Trump. Hold the Department of Justice accountable, right? Stop supporting people that are actively keeping this information from the American people for his own selfish reasons. Thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate it.
Take care. Bye.
If you are still a Trump supporter and you're supporting Trump through the release of these emails from the Oversight Committee, you can call in at 908-652-3703. No, I care about human rights. I care about human beings. That's what I care about, more important than anything else. But the point I'm trying to get people to understand is that it's right in front of your face and you can't see it because of your unwavering support for Donald Trump. What's up? What's your first name?
How you doing? It's Mike.
Yes, people will eventually lose all trust in the system. Democracies rely on people trusting the system entirely or they collapse. Alicia, thank you for a $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Go ahead. What's your name? And do you support Trump?
Mike,
Mike,
and yes, I do.
Why are you supporting Trump through all of this? Go ahead.
What's exactly this new part of this email that you guys are seeing that you're jumping on exactly that makes Trump look so bad? That Epstein said that he was the worst guy on the face of the planet?
No. Have you read the emails? Doesn't sound like you have.
Oh, I've done more research into Trump, Epstein, and all this stuff than I would
Okay,
care
so what
even.
did the 2011 email
I've been
say?
doing podcasting for the last many years.
Okay, what are you? Are you a creator?
Let me
I
ask
would
you
know.
this. I don't know. If you're
What's your
apparently a Democrat, so I doubt you would be following me.
Okay, well, I'm on
State shot
TikTok. I'm on
76.
TikTok. Have you ever seen me on TikTok?
I don't really use TikTok too much. I've uploaded maybe like 2 videos of my whole life on there.
Okay,
Mostly
well,
YouTube.
I'm primarily
and then I got
on
kicked off in 2020.
I'm primarily on TikTok, and I just started on YouTube about a week ago. So debating. So, what we're talking about here is a number of things. What have you read in the emails that you are aware of?
What I have read recently about, Epstein saying that Trump is the worst guy on the planet, this, that, and the other. But I find the timing of all this very interesting.
That's not all that's
Did you
in there.
happen to notice that Sure. Well, listen, hold on. Did you happen to notice that this whole big wanting of the Epstein files happened to come up now only after Trump was saying, hey, yeah, it's a hoax, let it go, let it go. This guy trolls you guys into doing,
But
and you guys don't seem
he
to
didn't
pick up on
start
this.
saying it was a hoax until
Why didn't
Pam
Biden
Bondi-
release these files?
Hold on. Let me just clear something up. First of all, they were sealed by the court. Biden couldn't have released the files. But number two,
Okay, because they don't break rules at all. They don't break rules.
You literally can't. You just can't. I mean, you can't. That's why they're doing this right now. So let me ask you a question, right? If you haven't read the emails, I have a hard time trusting that you really want to get the truth. But in 2011, they claim in 2011, first of all, they referred to Trump as the dog that hasn't barked in a 2011 email. The dog that hasn't barked. Epstein also stated in emails that Trump asked Ghislaine to stop certain activities implying some level of awareness or involvement in trafficking young girls. We know that's true because Donald Trump himself admitted that he gave Epstein a warning, right, to stop recruiting or poaching, according to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, young girls from Mar-a-Lago. Okay, there's not direct accusations that he engaged in abuse, but there's emails like he was in the presence of a victim alone with Epstein, which contradicts the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell, who Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, went and sat down with to secure a narrative about Trump prior to her testimony in front of the Oversight Committee. And as a result, she was moved to a minimum security prison in Camp Bryan, Texas. Do you think that's just for shits and giggles? Because before that, he was saying it was a hoax and stopped talking about it. We found out later that's because Pam Bondi told him behind the scenes that Trump was in the Epstein files in early May, right? And then all of a sudden the Oversight Committee says, well, if you're not going to talk about it anymore, we're going to subpoena her testimony, and immediately sends the Deputy Attorney General to go sit down with her when he said, we're not interested in talking about this anymore. And she, the violent sex offender who has every reason to lie, says Donald Trump wasn't, I've never witnessed Donald Trump in a private setting, only in public and social settings, and he's always been respectful. All right, give me a break, dude. Like, so what the significance is for me when I look at these emails, I see a contradiction. I see a contradiction in 2011. It takes a little while to explain things when you're actually educated on them. So you have to shut your mouth until I finish. Right. So what you look at are emails from 2000.
Redacted?
Are you going to shut up? Are you going to shut up? We don't know. That name's not been. That name's not been released.
Virginia Giuffre.
Who released that name?
We do know.
Who released it?
Virginia Giuffre. Guess what? The Democrats did.
So you don't know what you're talking about, but I'll explain further. Do you understand that doesn't matter? I'm not accusing him of abusing her. It doesn't even say that in the emails. What I'm accusing him of is being at Epstein's house in the presence of a victim in a private setting, which contradicts the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell. So I ask you again, why would you send your
Who arrested Ghislaine Maxwell?
I ask you, why would you send the Deputy Attorney General to sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell prior to her testimony in front of the Oversight Committee? If you weren't concerned about what information would come out in that hearing, why would you send the Deputy Attorney General to sit down with her?
Because she was offering up information. Now, you want to
information. What do you mean
this matter?
What do you mean she was offering up information? What information was she offering up?
She said she would testify and tell anything
the only
she wanted to.
Information,
who arrested her? What administration was that? Who arrested her?
What
Oh,
administration?
the Biden administration. That's right.
What?
No, not the Biden administration. That's right. Exactly. It was the
Guy,
Trump administration who arrested her.
You are.
How about,
do
how
you know
about
how
taking care of her own
government
friends,
works?
buddy?
Guy, you're incredibly low
Oh,
information.
God.
You're embarrassing yourself. So I'll ask you again, what information did she offer up that was so useful to the Department of Justice?
I don't know. Apparently, it wasn't anything useful enough to you. I'm not really concerned about
Whoa,
this.
whoa,
You guys
wait,
are
wait.
not-
It
you're
wasn't.
seeming
You're not.
to notice
You're not
the
concerned about it.
timeline
I
of
don't
all
care
this
if
and how
you're
it's going on.
concerned about it. You
He
don't
was
know what you're
arrested under the Trump administration, but she's friends with him, right?
Guy, if your argument is someone was arrested under an administration, you clearly do not understand how government works. So let me explain to you if I have to. But first, I want you to answer the question. Why would you rush to send the dead? Do you know who Todd Blanche is, sir?
Yes, I do. Who gives a shit?
Who is
dude?
he?
Who really cares about
Who is
his
he?
interview with her? With
Who
the grand
is
scheme
he?
of all these things.
Of course
So
we
he's a deputy
care.
Attorney General?
Of course we care. It's corruption, you goofball. Why would you send the deputy attorney?
you goofball.
No, right, dude. You're just too stupid for the conversation. That's clear. You're just too dumb. He says, who cares about his meeting? That's the entire point. What are you talking about, goofy? The point is, she's a convicted, violent sex offender who got rewarded quid pro quo for saying Trump was not criminally involved. 2011 emails contradict that she never saw him in a private setting. She did see him in a private setting. Why would they be lying in personal emails to each other before he's even in elected politics? God, the stupidity runs deep with these Muppets. God, this guy's claiming I'm a podcast. He said he's been a podcaster for a long time. Oh, Lord. Bro, Michael Montana in the chat literally just asked how Ghislaine Maxwell is a violent sex offender. Do you think sexual assault and or rape is a violent offense, Michael Montana? Because if not, I highly encourage your hard drive to be checked immediately. GG Perez says, you are mixing up two different testimonials. No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They just say anything in here, man. It's crazy. And if you're a Trump supporter and you still support Trump through the release of these emails, give me a call at 908-652-3703. We're coming to the end of the live. Would appreciate calling in. Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button yet, I would appreciate hitting the thumbs up button on the live. I would appreciate it. Sharing the live out, hitting the subscribe button. Trump supporters don't want you to hit that subscribe button. Hit it on behalf of those Trump supporters. John, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And why are you a Trump supporter through the release of these?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Do you have me on in the background, John? Yeah, John.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I can hear myself. So clearly you do, because I can hear myself talking. So you have Bluetooth on or something. Take your Bluetooth off and call back in. If you are a Trump supporter, you can call in 908-652-3703 if you're still supporting Donald Trump through the release of these emails. Hello, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Why are you still supporting Donald Trump through the release of these emails by the Oversight Committee and everything that's gone on since?
I tend to wait for evidence, right?
Right.
I mean, if I see a press release and it says that they've released emails, how many emails do they have that they didn't release? How many? When Jeffrey Epstein gets arrested and his whole house supposedly is wired, Jeffrey Epstein, his side job, his side hustle was sex trafficking. His main hustle was financial corruption. Most of the names connected to Jeffrey Epstein is corrupt money. That's most of the names. So like when the Black Book came out and his butler circled all of the names, those were people that his butler knew were specifically connected to the sex trafficking. Now,
So-
granted, there's probably a lot more, but
Yeah. So
most of the people connected to Jeffrey Epstein,
I don't know that I'd call it
like,
a side
less
hustle.
interesting, obviously, than the sex.
Side hustle's probably
in
strong,
Jeffrey
dude.
Epstein's world. It was
Okay, well, here, let me address a couple of things
in
here.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Cool. Well,
Right.
let me just address a couple of things here. So, first of all, you wait for evidence, and I agree with you. Waiting for evidence to prove that he had directly engaged in the behavior is absolutely what you should do. And if we're talking about, like, you know, meeting the criminal burden of proof, yes, you're absolutely correct. I agree with you, and Trump deserves due process like anyone else does. Although he's not giving people due process right now, I still think he should have due process because everyone deserves due process. Okay? That's number one. But there are two parts to this conversation: the conspiracy to cover it up and whether or not he directly participated in the abuse. Second question you asked me was about why haven't all their emails been released at once? How many emails are there? This and that. Well, over 23,000 pages of these emails have been made public already, right? There are tons of information in these emails, right? For all sorts of reasons, including victims, right? There are certain required redactions to protect, like, legal rights and people's identities. Okay, so like you have to sift through these emails. You have to read through these emails before you can release them. So 23,000 have been released so far. There's a large amount of material. It requires time to review. It requires time to redact, and it requires time to organize for public release. It's important to understand, though, that it is obtained through congressional subpoena power. So there are hard copies, there are digital copies. So it's not fake, if that's what you're insinuating.
No, I'm not insinuating anything's fake. I'm just insinuating that I or anybody else has no clear picture. We have dots, and right now we can speculate on YouTube and we can connect these dots how we think that they're supposed to connect or how we think they will connect. But until they actually are connected by hard evidence, we don't really know. We just have a bunch of data points. But going back to the victim's lawyer specifically states that he spoke to Trump, that Trump gave him all the information, that he actually contacted and subpoenaed who he called very connected people, and no one contacted him back but Trump. And he's on the record of Trump, quote, "We can talk as long as you want about whatever you want." As much so that he did not need to depose Trump at all. That's how, and he said Trump gave him very useful information. He backed up information that the victims had already spoken about, and he gave him information that he did not have.
You're not. First of all, it was not.
And
of
you
all,
can look. He's
okay, what's the lawyer's name, and what survivors did he represent? Because I don't know if you're talking about the lawyer that represents them now. He's not said Donald Trump contacted.
I'm talking about I'm talking about Bradley Edwards, and Bradley Edwards is on the record of saying, quote, "Trump was very helpful in the information he gave and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward
because
whatsoever,
he wasn't
but
being.
had good
But Trump wasn't
information
being
that
accused.
checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition."
But Trump wasn't being accused.
Yeah, he wasn't
by
even being accused of anything.
Yeah. So again,
right.
So an
But-
attorney,
and this was in
hold on,
2018.
excuse me. First
So
of all,
Trump
first of all, he subpoenaed Trump. So that's number one. He subpoenaed him.
He did not subpoena Trump.
He did. Trump reached out, but he did subpoena him. Right. So him saying Trump was helpful in a case that had nothing, or in giving him information in a case that had nothing to do with him. Guilty people do that all the time. That doesn't prove anything. What we do know, though, as President of the United States, that the survivors have offered to give their testimony under oath to the FBI, and instead he sent the Deputy Attorney General to sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell, the violent sex offender. I'm sure you've heard the family members outraged that she received a sweetheart deal for basically saying Trump was never involved in anything criminally. She never saw him in a private setting.
Of course.
Right. So why would you if you wanted the truth, wouldn't you let the survivors steer the ship and have them give testimony to the FBI under oath? Or would you interview the violent sex offender who has every reason to lie and then and have a meeting with her, quid pro quo, where she's moved to Camp Bryan, Texas from a prison in Florida, and now we've heard is receiving preferential treatment according to the people in the Department of Correction. Included, they were actually just recently fired, saying that she has an emotional support dog. Right. She gets customized meals. You don't go to the violent sex offender to get the truth, right? If Trump wanted the truth, he'd be conducting an investigation that involves responding to the survivors. The survivors said during the press conference they refused to talk to them. Kash Patel was confronted about this under oath in his hearing. He refused to answer the question. That's also the same guy who says that there's no evidence that they were trafficked to anyone but Epstein himself. So, I mean, look.
Right. So, look, let's throw the other. I think Kash Patel's an idiot. Just because I said that, yes, I still support Trump does not mean that I agree with everything that's happening. Ghislaine Maxwell should be under the prison. But as far as the content of the emails and like the wording of the emails, so the emails say that, and I think you read the emails on a previous call, right? And I don't want to.
I have a million times. Yes.
It was. Yeah, so what you said it, just I think a couple calls before. So like Trump, she was stated as she had never seen Trump in a private setting.
Yeah, she said she only saw Trump in public and social settings. Yeah, only Trump in public and social settings. He never acted inappropriately. It just doesn't match up with things they said previously. But more importantly,
and the previous
can I just address something in the chat here? Somebody just said something about he's calling for a vote. That vote's happening anyway. Trump was actually a part of trying to convince Republicans not to sign the discharge petition. He never wanted this vote to go to the House. He has no power in stopping this vote now. This vote is happening, and he knows the more he tells Republicans to vote against it, the more Republicans are going to defect. He has the ongoing investigation to use. Regardless it passes the Senate, he can claim that information needs to remain redacted, or the Department of Justice technically can claim it needs to remain redacted because it's a part of an ongoing criminal investigation. That vote's happening. Trump worked to prevent Republicans from signing the discharge petition, the four that did. So what's your question, dude? Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like we're jumping from point to point real quick, but just going back to the emails, and previously I said that Trump wasn't subpoenaed. Trump actually was part of the group. Yeah, you are right.
Correct.
Trump
Thank you.
Actually was.
At least you're admitting it. Most Republicans. Group, right? Thank you. At least you're admitting it. Most Republicans don't.
Well, I'm not actually a Republican. I'm more of an independent. But yes, I still support Trump, barring I see actual evidence, because when somebody says no, I haven't seen Trump in a private setting, and then the email comes out and says, oh well, Trump was in a room with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and one of the victims, and people are like, well, that's a lie right there. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell says that she saw him in social settings. If I'm in a private setting is you and your wife, and I walk into your bedroom, I have seen you all in a private setting. If you and your wife come to my house and I have a person, 3 people sitting on my couch, that is a social setting.
No.
That would be reference what
so wait,
said
Epstein's
in the
house
in the being Trump in a social
is
setting.
Epstein's house in the presence of a victim?
Man, I didn't interrupt.
Come on, man. What you just said is not true. What you just said is not true, though. What you just said is not true.
No, that is true. She said she saw him in social settings. If there's a group of people sitting on a couch, just because somebody walks into a room, Jeffrey Epstein is known to have young girls all around him at all times. That's probably a normal thing, regardless if you agree with anything that he's like the age difference or what. It doesn't necessarily mean that something has happened nefarious on Trump's part or he's taken part in. That just speaks to like Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell being a piece of shit.
All right, so now I'm going to respond.
I feel like
all right, I got you.
Like
I don't need you to repeat the point again. I don't need you to say it again. I got you.
Okay.
So in his home, first of all,
social setting.
Again, now you're interrupting me. When it's my turn to talk, now you're interrupting me to say the same thing that you already said 3 times. I heard you.
I know.
It's not a social setting.
But I'm listening to
you're wrong.
You
Here you are interrupting me now. So here, I'm going to explain this to you. First of all, that's not the only thing that contradicts that deposition, all right? That's under oath, that testimony. But number one, in his home, in the presence of one of Epstein's victims, I don't call a social setting. If you think in Epstein's home that's a public or social setting, well, then you're fucking naive, and that's your problem, not mine. But I'll go further. Okay, I'll go for a step
Epstein's
further.
home
How
would be a
come?
social
How come
setting,
she didn't
regardless.
include? How come she didn't include? Right, the fact that Trump knew about the abuse going on. How come she didn't include that? How come she didn't explain that, according to these emails, Trump was aware of the girls? Oh, they also said in the email, Trump is the dog that hasn't barked. Well, she's also the dog that hasn't barked at Trump. Answer that.
When you refer to an email and Trump tells them to stop.
You can't answer.
And Trump has previously told a story about both of these people coming to his club trying to steal his workers, and now there's an email that Trump says, "Hey, you all need to stop."
Wait, let me ask you a question. Do you
At
tell
that
pedophiles
time,
to stop?
how-
Do you
like,
tell
again,
pedophiles
these are
to
dots
stop?
that you're connecting.
Do you tell pedophiles to stop, or do you
Again, these are
immediately?
dots that you are connecting.
Do you tell pedophiles to stop and give them a warning, or do you ban them from your establishment immediately?
In that context, when Epstein was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago, he wasn't molesting kids in the ballroom in front of 50 people. He was being inappropriate to a waitress. And then, just because you know now what happened behind closed doors, and now you're trying to relate it to every conversation, that doesn't work like that.
I'm not trying to
When
relate it.
people are in that situation.
You're wrong.
And you have.
You're incorrect on the information. You don't know the information. Do you
No,
know why?
no, you're connecting-
do you know
no,
what
again,
their
you're
narrative?
connecting dots and
do
you're
you
jumping
know?
to
You
conclusions.
just said it wasn't
That's what
children.
you're doing.
You just said it wasn't children. Do you know one of the young girls was sexually harassed by Jeffrey Epstein, which ultimately, supposedly, resulted in the ban? Did you know that? That was a child. That's their narrative. I'm claiming it went on longer.
Listen, I didn't say that it wasn't. Look,
You just said it wasn't children. You just said he wasn't doing it with children.
No, bro, I gave you, bro. Again, you're jumping from point to point. I'm telling you, the email you're referencing. No, the email you're referencing is Trump telling Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein to stop.
Listen, what you're doing is
You
mental
look back.
gymnastics.
Trump tells a story. Trump freely tells a
You just claimed that
Well,
Epstein's
and
private
Jeffrey Epstein
home in the
trying to
presence
steal
of a woman
his-
he's actively
You're connecting
abusing.
dots.
You're literally
You're reaching,
saying
man.
Trump's private home in the presence of a victim he is in the process of sexually abusing. Maybe not in that moment.
You're assuming that he knows
Hold
this
on.
woman is a victim.
You're saying
You're
it's not.
assuming that
You're
he's
saying it's
aware
not a
of who
private
this woman
setting.
is,
His house,
what-
guy. If
what the
somebody has,
background and what's
guy, if
happened in a
somebody has
private
you over
setting.
their home, that's not
You're
a public
assuming
setting.
so much in
Guy,
that
when
statement.
somebody has you over their house, that's not a private setting. That's a public setting. I mean, that's not a public setting. That's a private setting. Over your house is a private
that's
setting.
a social setting.
Club is a social setting.
If you
It's a
have
social
5
setting.
people in your living room, that would be a social
Oh
gathering.
my God. Guy, you're kidding me. If you think his home is a
private-
private setting. Listen, let me ask you a question.
You're connecting dots,
Let me,
man.
why
You're
don't you
connecting
why don't
dots.
you
Like,
connect
the
this dot
point
for
is-
me?
and
Why don't
like,
you
I-
connect
and I'm
hold
not-
on.
and I'm not trying to
Hold on,
defend
please.
Trump,
Why don't you
period.
connect this dot for me really quick? Explain to me why you would trust the testimony of a convicted sex offender who's already been convicted and has every reason to lie. Why would you trust her narrative? And number two, why would you send the deputy attorney general to meet her instead of just letting her testify in front of the oversight committee? What is the logical reason? I want you to answer this question. What is the
Okay.
logical reason that you would
Okay.
send the deputy attorney general,
Okay,
who was
there's
your
2 points to
personal
that.
attorney?
Okay.
Hold on. Stop talking. Who was your personal attorney to go sit down with a violent convicted sex offender only when they find out the oversight committee is going to subpoena her testimony? Give me a logical reason you would do that as Donald Trump.
Okay. You have 2 points, right? Why
No,
would
I want you to
trust
just
Ghislaine
answer this one.
Maxwell?
Just
I
answer
wouldn't.
this one.
She's full of shit. She has every reason to lie, right? Okay, no, listen. She has every reason to lie. Every reason to lie. Every reason to not get killed in jail or suicided or whatever the case may be. I trust her none whatsoever. The victim's lawyer saying that he doesn't believe anything inappropriate, and other than what, a statement of her saying that Trump didn't act inappropriate. That's it. There's no evidence.
Didn't answer the question.
To such a conclusion.
Didn't answer the question.
Now, if there was, and which part?
I'm going to ask you one more time and listen to the question instead of listening to respond. By the way, for the people in chat that keep saying Ghislaine Maxwell's not violent, I'm going to spell this out for you. And by the way, your heart.
And that's another thing. You got
to stop talking.
Offender. There's only one type
Excuse
of
me.
sex
Can you
offender.
stop talking? Can you stop talking? All right, you're on hold because you can't shut your mouth. Sexual assault, right? Rape, by coercion or otherwise, it doesn't matter, is a violent offense under U.S. law. Okay? So when I say violent sex offender, I'm specifically referring to the fact that it's classified as a violent offense, to get the point across. God, that guy wouldn't shut the fuck up. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Notice he left too when he couldn't interrupt me because he can't answer the question. Give me a logical reason. Of course, he didn't answer the question because he's scared to answer the question. Give me a logical reason you would have the Deputy Attorney General go sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell prior to her testimony in front of the Oversight Committee. There is no logical reason. There is no logical reason you would do that.
Call from
Michael.
Michael, are you a Trump supporter?
For now, I am.
Okay, for now. What does that mean?
Well, you know more about these emails than I do.
Oh, God, not you again. Fuck.
But I did hear that
I can.
Obama
I
had
remember
dinner
your voice. You were so
He
annoying.
misspelled his name. It was B-A-R-R.
I don't know what you're saying. That's a guy I've talked to about 1 million times. He's just annoying as shit. Misspelled whose name? Whose name? What name did I misspell? What is this guy talking about? Fucking weirdo. Listen, I'm just going to say this for Trump supporters. Defending sex offenses is deeply troubling.
Call from.
Deeply troubling.
To accept, press 1.
Yeah, say your name when you're calling in, or I think you're going to slur. Defending Ghislaine Maxwell and saying she's not a violent sex offender? Yes, she is, according to the law. Sex crimes, those that involve sexual assault, rape with force, doesn't matter if there's coercion or force, is classified as a violent offense. The fact that you guys are disputing that is deeply disturbing. Deeply disturbing. Let's try and do one more here. Are you a Trump supporter?
Call from.
Hattie.
What? That's a fetus. All right, we're starting to get the fetus now, everybody. We're starting to get the fetus. I usually back out when we start to get the fetus. I don't know if it's because like school is out or something, but we just had a fetus call in, so this is when I start to back out. This is not no offense or anything, but you can't call in here if you're a child, okay? You have to be an adult. I don't want you anywhere near Trump supporters. So you're not allowed in here. To the person who keeps saying I'm paid by the DNC, I am not paid by the DNC. This is an accusation that's been made on TikTok multiple times. I've never accepted a single dime from the DNC. Okay? Stop saying ridiculous lies in chat. Why don't you tell the truth for once in your life? The truth hurts. That means I must be getting paid to say it. Guys, by the way, if you would like to support me, you can with a super chat. I would appreciate it. You can support it with a super chat. You can also support me in the link tree in my bio. That's how I am paid by my supporters. If you go to the link tree in my bio right on the front of my page, my Venn is there, my CA is there. I would appreciate it. How shitty of a president is he, and who should be in office? God, if I had my ideal candidate, I don't know. I mean, if it was ideal, I don't know. If I could build one, you mean? but you are already paid well. Shut up, dude. I never accepted any money to say anything. I get paid by supporters. I'm a bestseller on Substack. I'm on multiple different platforms. Christopher, thank you so much, Christopher, for the 1999 super chat. Here's your DNC paycheck. This is the perfect time to trigger Trump supporters right there. That's the perfect time to trigger Trump supporters. You know, they get super triggered by that for some reason. Yeah, they don't like the truth. Guys, if you do not support Trump and you're enjoying the live, press 1 in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat. If you do support Trump, you can call in at 908-652-3703. Let's see if we can get one more caller to call in and say whether or not you support Trump and what the deal is there. Melanie, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Melanie. Appreciate you, Melanie.
Call from
Jerry.
Jerry, what's going on? Melanie, thank you so much for the super chat, Melanie. I really appreciate you so much, Melanie. Thank you, Christopher, too. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for all the release of these most recent emails. That's the topic today.
Because he's the best president ever.
Okay. Jerry, are you going to tell me why you're still supporting him through the emails? Like, give me a legitimate argument. I'm not interested in something stupid.
Yeah, because the emails don't matter. He didn't do anything wrong.
Okay. Did you read the emails?
I've just seen them online. I don't have time to read through 22,000 of them.
Okay. Did you read the stuff that's specific to Donald Trump?
Yeah, that he was in the Epstein house with the victim or something.
Okay, that's one. What else?
Yeah, that's the only one that I can recall. What other stuff is there?
Jordan says, dude, you're obviously paid off. You got that Gucci house. Thank you, Jordan. So, listen, let me ask you a question, right? If it does come out, let's say that this passes the House, the Epstein Transparency Act passes the House and then passes the Senate, and the president vetoes it, would you still support him if he vetoed the Transparency Act, if he vetoed the bill, if it passed both the House and the Senate?
What is he vetoing?
The Epstein Transparency Act. He's not vetoing anything right now, but I'm saying he will have the power to veto.
What is the Epstein Transparency Act?
Oh, my God. To release the files.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
What time did you get up today?
Just say that. I don't.
Well, I mean, dude, usually people who call in are at least prepared to give me a tape.
I just woke up.
Okay, what time did you go to bed?
So let me tell you something.
No, I'm not interested in you telling me anything. I'm asking you, when did you go to bed?
I'm a truck driver. I don't really have a sleep schedule.
Okay. Well, why do you still support Trump? Can we just get to it?
Because what am I going to do? Support a Democrat?
Would you support a PDF file over a Democrat?
I would support anybody over a Democrat.
Oh, my God. So you're telling me you would support a PDF file over a Democrat? That's how much you hate Democrats.
There's no proof
I'm asking you a question. If it comes out that he participated directly, would you support him over Democrats?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Have a good day, my guy. Have the day you deserve. Have the day you deserve. Holy shit. Guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. I try and go live every single day on here, just like I do on TikTok. And I do them separately because you know how it works out with TikTok and the things people say. I can't really have that come through my TikTok stream, so I've been doing them separately. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button really quick. Make sure you hit it now. Hit the thumbs up button so you do not forget, and make sure you hit the notification bell. Guys, I appreciate you. I'm a little Trump supportered out for right now. I don't know if I'm going to come back on tonight or not. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I might be done for the night. I'm a little Trump supportered out. I wish I could do like another 30 or 45 minutes for you guys, but I'm actually kind of tired of talking to these guys right now, and I've been on here for 2 hours, plus I streamed for 3 hours on TikTok. So, but I appreciate you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the people who supported, contributed to the gifting goal, all of those things. I appreciate you guys. Oh man, there's just so many. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. Ludacris says, a PDF is talking about a PDF. Adam Gray was exposed as being a PSD by TW. Guy, stop projecting your insecurities onto me, Ludacris. Ludacris was probably exposed as being a pedophile, and now he's spamming it in the chat. Ludacris, stop projecting your insecurities onto me. Right? I know that, like, you're a pedophile and you want company, but I'm not the company you want, friend. Sorry. Sorry. Don't project your insecurities, pedo. It's crazy how many, like, the thing that's shocking to me, bye, Raven, have a good night. The thing that's shocking to me is how many PDF and PDF supporters we have discovered on, like, in this country through this process. Like, it's deeply disturbing. AJ says these emails came out in 2011. This is so old. AJ, what are you talking about? These emails were a part of the Epstein estate. They had to use congressional subpoena power to subpoena the estate. What are you talking about? Nice lie you just made up. Nice lie. All Democrats? Well, I mean, you can think that about Democrats, but it is what it is. This isn't about party loyalty, people. I don't give a fuck if they're Democrats or Republicans. Expose their ass and get them out of our government with a quickness. With a quickness, get them out of our government. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, don't give a shit. Bounce their ass out. Thomas, you spelled your wrong. You're saying I'm spreading misinformation. Well, you should learn how to spell your. Imagine when the approval goes lower, now you will look then. Imagine when approval goes lower, now you will look then. Trump has a historically low approval rating right now. I don't know what you're talking about. Why didn't Democrats expose Trump during his campaign? Let me ask you a question. Let's pretend for a second Democrats released those files during his campaign. Would you have actually believed them to be true? No. You would not have believed them to be true. Had a Democrat or Democrats released those during the campaign, you wouldn't have believed them. You said they're missing. You would have said they're fake. It's a conspiracy. It's a hoax to prevent him from getting elected. That's what you would have done. Okay. That being said, it was sealed by the court and it couldn't have been released. So, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. That's the case. I don't know why you guys are just not supporting the release of these files. What's shocking, too, I do want to go over the Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff a little bit. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now in opposition to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has pulled her endorsement of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I want to go into the Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff a little bit deeper, but I'll probably talk and I'll do it on here the next time I'm live. If you're a true patriot, I appreciate the true patriots fighting for the truth for the American people. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Hey, thank you so much, Kelly. Happy birthday, Kelly. I just saw that at the last minute. Happy birthday, Kelly. Take care, everybody.